Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the new improved build for my skill power. I've done a few extra things like I said I would, and I'll just get straight into it. Not a huge amount has changed, but we have changed some things for the better. As usual, we're going to use the tactician. This is for the 50% extra skill power. It's for the extra damage to robots, and it's for the extra skill damage. Yes, you could use demolitionist if you can get your skill power up there. But you obviously don't get the extra damage on your bleed hive then, so I prefer to use it this way, and I do get a lot of damage out of it. Right, we're still using my M4 with Sadist, Jazz Hands and Recharged. I really wish this was extra or Allegro instead of Jazz Hands, but yeah, I haven't found the right one yet. But this, as I say, with Recharge, 25% duration, charges and ammo, if you deploy your skills at full armor. Now it says while equipped, but it actually seems to proc off even when you're using your other weapon, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Set up pretty standard on this one, which is 8% damage to elites, 5% damage to elites, 20 extra rounds, and I put reload speed on to take away the loss of reload speed, just in case I do need to quickly reload and actually hit that last person when they're close. The second one I'm using is Tuberosa, which none of this top stuff matters for the steady-handed or anything. All that matters is rooted. So while equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. The buff is lost when exiting cover and can occur once every 60 seconds. There is on Cassie Mendoza apparently a perfectly rooted shotgun. She's not open for me at the moment, so as soon as she's open, I'm going to be going to grab that so I get a little bit more damage. I assume that'll be like a 30% extra damage instead of 25. So nothing major, but every little helps. On the pistol, spike helps, but we don't use it very often. It's great if you can just get that last headshot kill for 35% extra damage for 20 seconds. And in rhythm, for have a 5% chance to refresh all my active skill cooldowns. Just helps a little bit, but obviously I'll go into why you don't particularly have to have that, but it's helpful. Okay, so the mask, we've rolled this up from last time to have damage to elites. So it's got my 186 skill power and 43% damage to elites, just because it does help with the Seekers. I'm not sure whether it helps with Hive, but it does help with the Seekers on damage to elites. The chest piece, 469 skill power, 12% weapon damage I put on here now, and 23,000 health. It's just because my weapon damage was so low before. It was like 14k, and now I've got it up to 15.5, and as I said, that all does help. I just wanted to have a little bit extra, and obviously when Sadist is on, that's another 4.5. It goes up to 20k a shot when we've got Sadist on, so it becomes an actually formidable weapon then. The holster, 42k health and 20% skill haste. Sorry, I'll go through the mods as well. We've got extra bleed damage, extra burn damage, don't worry about that. Skill power. Then we've got some extra Seeker skill power down there because we're just trying to get above the 3k here. I actually had it above 4k at one point, but that was just way too much. So this one here, we've put a skill power Seeker skill and Hive skill. Perfect. Armor, total armor and explosive resistance. Perfect. And some extra assault rifle damage and damage to health. Damage to health does work on some of your skills, so it's worth buffing up. So 6% assault rifle and some damage to health. And sorry, in the mask, which I forgot as well, I've got extra Seeker skill power and skill power. As you can see, just getting up the two skills that I want to get up. Knee pads, so we've got 21% skill haste, extra bleed damage, extra grenade damage, 90 skill power. Then we got some extra explosive damage, armor and health. Really good mod that. I really like these ones that have got the armor and the health on. Obviously they help with survivability a lot. And that leads into having 4 pieces of hardwired, which is what you want for this build. So 20% skill power, and then 3 electrified deployed skills. So hives are fantastic for this. Causes enemies who go close to be shocked and can occur once every 10 seconds. So instead of a heavy being able to run over and destroy that hive, they get shocked instead, and they stand there and just take the bleed, and then you can hit them with your Seeker Mines. It's absolutely brilliant. And the last one, feedback loop. Killing with a skill resets the cooldown of your other skill, and repairing a friendly agent's armor from 0 resets the cooldown of your skills. It can only occur once every 15 seconds. When a skill cooldown ends or reaches full charges, gain bonus damage and repair to all skills for 15 seconds. That's really good because we've got quick cooldowns anyway. So it's actually really, really good, to be honest. We get a lot of damage out of this. We don't do any healing. 21% skill haste. That could be a little bit higher, but I haven't found the right ones yet. 90% skill power. 3.5, as I said, that's my mods I've already been through. Now, this is the way you want it set up. You want the 4 pieces here, and there's a very good reason for that. So you want a mask, a chest piece. You want destructive and hard hitting in here, preferably. You could go destructive and hardened, or destructive and vital if you want a bit more survivability, but I like the extra damage myself. You got your holster and your knee pad. This is exactly how you have to set it up. Then you want your BTSU gloves. Now the way I've set these up is skill power, pulse and hive, so that's for the hive. Skill power, hive and seeker, that's perfect for me for what I'm using. Some health, some armor on kill, and some health regen. To be honest, I'm going to change that right now to an explosive. If I've got a good explosive, yes, I'm going to use that one instead, because explosive resistance is massive in this game. So it really is on heroics. If you any explosive damage resistance that you can stack is worthwhile, because those grenades will take you out on heroics and the raid. Now we're using this for elemental gadgetry. So skills that apply status effects gain 50% status effects duration and 50% skill haste. So that works on my bleed hive. It also works on the seeker after it starts applying status effects, I believe. So that's pretty good. Whenever you apply status effects, your gloves become infused with that effect for 60 seconds. So while infused, you gain plus 10 skill damage, plus 10 repair, and plus 10 healing, and plus 10 duration for each yellow we have. I've got 14, so that's 140% extra damage and 140% extra duration if it needs be. That's really good, obviously. Whenever you throw a skill, 1.25 seconds after you land, it creates an explosion, applying the infused status effect to all enemies within 6 meters. Now, that explosion does do explosive damage too. So you get the explosive damage when you throw a seeker down, then the bleed effect hits in, then the seekers hit. So it's a lot of damage. Enemies affected by infused status effect take 50% more damage from your skills. So you can see how all this damage stacks up. You've got 50% there, 140% from the actual BTSU gloves. We're at 190% before we even start on that. And then we've got obviously the rooted at 25%. So that's 215%. Yeah, you can see how it stacks up. Really, really, really useful. You need to have this on your skill build. Anyone who sits there saying wicked, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to politely disagree, because this is the real damage part of a build. The last thing I'm using is percussive maintenance. Now this is a named item with perfect tech support. So 30% extra skill damage for 10 seconds when you get a kill with an active skill. That keeps refreshing as well. So you're constantly hitting that 30% up. So what we're at? We're at 190, we're at 215, so I've got 245, 250% extra damage on skills when everything procs. And I've got my 25% damage to elites to help with that there, so I'm hitting on my skills at like 68% damage to elites. It could be higher, but this is a skill build with obviously a lot of green items, so it's still pretty good. We've got high skill power, seeker skill power, all in there. I wish I had a higher seeker skill power, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. I'm at 3000. I'm where I need to be, so it's not an issue. This is a really good build, and I'm really, really happy with it. As I say, there's a couple of small improvements I can make, a little bit more skill house maybe, but you know, it works. And the next thing we'll go through is our skills. So we've got Seeker Mine. As you can see here, I throw out 9 mines, but when I've got recharged on, I actually throw 11 mines out. So I get that extra percentage of mines that I can throw out. Each one of those does 546,477 base damage with a blast radius of 4 meters. PvP damage 136,000 per mine, that is. So bear in mind that's going to do a lot of damage to either a player or an NPC. Cooldown's 29.7 seconds, but because of hardwired and all our other things, we don't really care about that. We've got them up when we need them up. They're up almost constantly. For our drive slots, we've got 6 extra cluster mines, 85.9 damage and 96.7 damage. If I can find higher damage and higher cluster mine size, I'm going to find them and I'm going to put them on. This is the best I have right now. But this is the way you want it set up. Extra mines, extra damage. Just throw them out and watch them do work. I can do whole rooms in missions, sometimes whole missions with not even having to go to the ammo box at all with this. Next up is my hive. So it's a bleed. It's got a duration of 50 seconds. That's before the BTSU etc. hitting, obviously. Range of 10 meters, 14 charges. But you'll see that I usually throw out 16 charges because of recharge. Refill speed of 2.5 seconds. That's really good. It does damage of 126.217 per thing that flips out. So it does a lot of damage to people and it bleeds them. So obviously you get your initial damage plus the bleed damage, and that equals up to that, is the way that I see it working on there. Now I've got 89.8 damage, 30% radius and 73% charges. As you can see from there, it's only 2,192 to 73 charges. So I'm assuming you can get a lot more. I just haven't found it yet. Same with the damage, I'm assuming I can get a lot more. And the radius, I'm hoping to find a good one that I can fit in there. But it still does a lot of work. As I say, I'm doing a bit of utility mod farming and we will find that. Right, let's have a look at the range. Exactly how we can do this. So if we put this onto very hard, you can see there already down the bottom it says 14 charge, but I get 16 because of recharge. Even if I swap weapons, recharge is still on. So as you can see, you don't actually need it equipped. So you'll be able to see my damage coming up in a minute on the left. There you go. As you can see, that's a lot of damage. Would let them bleed out. You can see they're doing 10,000 damage per bleed on that. Just the bleed part. Now if we throw these out, 2.9, 2.8, 2.6 mil per ball. You'll see the explosion off this now. 846,000. No, 84,000. Yeah, 846,000, sorry, 782. And then the bleed kicks it. Well, it doesn't even get a chance to hit the bleeding, but it was 18,000 there if you saw it down the bottom. One last one. But you'll see. Depends on how it hits, but it can hit at 2.5 million, 2.9 million. You've seen that already. This is absolutely mental. There's a slight little thing on the range, unfortunately, where it loses... oh no, sorry, it's because I lost the BTSU. Let's get the BTSU back up. And then that'll reset my mines, you'll see. And you can see, with Sadist on, I'm doing 47,000 on a shot. Because Sadist is out. We throw that down. Yeah, 2.9 million easy. That is absolutely mental, and that's 11 mines that hit like that because they're recharged. I can easily get that above 3 mil if I get the right mods, but 2.9 mil a hit is absolutely ridiculous. You'll see here my gun is not going to be that high on DPS, but we'll have a look at it. Put it onto named. Get it to bleed these guys if I can. So 36 a shot. can't get it to bleed these, it doesn't look like. Nah, that's a shame. For some reason I can't get it to bleed those. Let's see if we can do it any better here. See if it'll bleed it when I do that. Yeah, it doesn't bleed the new targets, unfortunately. But, yep. 36,000 normal. You saw 47,000 when I got my bleed out on the very hard range. So that's absolutely brilliant. I don't think I can get a DPS off this either. No, it doesn't hit up through. It can't get up there. But it did apply the bleed, which was good. So I got 47,000 on a bleed hit. So, yeah, not bad at all, considering the fact this is not a gun build. Very, very happy with it. Thank you very much. If you would like to like and subscribe this, I'll be very, very grateful. And I'll speak to you all soon.